yes, we have war. Yes, we have conflict. There are crosses. We are experiencing gender apartheid. We are being erased from the society, but we are resilient. We have this resistance. This is our culture. What you're seeing as a culture that Taliban has brought to our country is not our culture. We have so much beyond that. That's exactly what I believe in, that, and I resonate with it.
Hello, everyone. Today on the Sherazad Foundation mini podcast, I am joined by two truly inspirational women who have been brought together by a shared love of literature and of telling stories of people's lives. Tamanna Easar is an Afghan writer and artist who's currently living in London. And Lucy Hannah is a writer, producer, and the founder of Untold Narratives. And she's got strong connections with Afghanistan as well. Lucy and Tamanna, it's such a pleasure to have you with us on the Sherazad mini podcast. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, and providing this opportunity. Nice to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'd really just like to start by asking Lucy. Lucy, how did you stumble upon Afghanistan, or did it stumble upon you? How did you find each other?
I think it stumbled, well, both, I suppose. I had been working for the BBC in BBC drama, mostly in radio drama. This was more than 20 years ago. And then I was invited to go and work with the team at New Home, New Life, which many people will know is the long-running radio soap opera in Afghanistan, based in Kabul, produced by AEPO, Afghan Educational Productions. And I had an opportunity to go and work with the script writers to collaborate with them and share ideas about how to create new storylines, particularly women's rights storylines. And also we were working on a new spin-off program for younger listeners. And this was probably back in 2006, 2008, and again, perhaps 2017. So I went back and forth probably 5 or 6 times, connected to the program, and I fell in love with the team, the place, the country, the people.
Can I ask what were the first impressions that you had of Afghanistan and the culture and the women?
Well, I suppose we were very focused on the work, because that's, at the time, it wasn't very easy to move around due to security. And so my experience was mainly, in the office, really, and walking around Kabul. I tried to walk as much as I could to get a sense of the place. So it was, in a way, it was like working with the best of a really creative, hardworking, imaginative team of script writers anywhere. But we shared a sense of humor. We had a lot of laughs, and we just, I hope the feeling's mutual, that we really enjoyed working together, particularly. And I was impressed, I think, with the strength and the commitment of the women, particularly the women writers in the team, who often had to stand their ground on certain ideas, which would be the same anywhere in the world, but they were pretty strong bunch. They are and remain.
Thank you. And Tamanna, tell people watching this about Afghan women. I've spent time in Afghanistan and in other countries as well, but Afghan women are so strong, so resilient, so just impressive. They're just a force of nature. And can you talk about the values that Afghan women live to, and and why are women in Afghanistan who they are?
Well, that's a deep question, actually, and a very good question about women of Afghanistan. They, as you said, they are a symbol of not giving up, I think. They are just extraordinary women that are now and in this situation where they are being oppressed. They are being, structurally excluded from the society. And this systemic, exclusion is going on, but still they are fighting so passionately to just speak up, to have that freedom of expression, to express their self, and to in any way that that's possible for them. For example, I would say women who are writing now, they are not seeing this writing opportunity as an just artistic expression. For them, it is a way to process what they are witnessing, what they are carrying emotionally, and also to preserve that collective history and experience, lived experience, and testimonies. Yeah, for me, it is really hard to define them with just one word and a one single definition. I would love to just give opportunity for every individual back home in my motherland where they can define their own perspective about their own self. Because if I try to or claim to have that even authority, or let's say ownership, to speak on their behalf, that would be not possible for me. Ethically is not acceptable for me. But I would say in general, they are such a role models for me, living in exile for almost 5 years, looking back home and hearing from them, seeing them fighting in any way possible, going on the streets, online advocacy, and just using any tool and medium to say that I'm here, I am, this is happening, and this matters.
Yeah.
So this is really important. Yeah. Yeah.
And really, I'm a writer as well. And what I know about being a writer is that just sitting at a desk, or, at a computer, or having a pen and paper and just writing whatever the medium is, it's a kind of therapy for yourself. And I often think I'm just completely nuts, but this is the one thing that keeps me on track, and
Yeah.
and writing is a very private thing a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Do you think, and I just want to say this, that my sense with the truly awful situation for Afghan women and girls is a little bit like lockdown was, but much worse, lockdown during COVID,
Yeah.
because people are, they're locked down. But what is your sense that writing, what is the role of writing for women, even if it's keeping a journal, even if it's just writing for themselves? Do you see that as a kind of a therapy?
Yeah, actually, yeah, because I experienced that personally while writing my own memoir. After coming to this country, just leaving everything, and experiencing, being in exile, and also that in betweenness as a refugee, as an immigrant. But when I see the women in Afghanistan who are unfortunately like a prisoner in their own homes and in their own country, I see that as a therapy. Yeah, for them, it may help them in a way. But mostly, I sense that they are not trying to write only to uh, uh, to to get help from that writing as a therapy, if that makes sense, because they want to show the real image of the motherland, the Afghanistan, the woman of Afghanistan. Because unfortunately, when the moment when you talk about Afghanistan, the moment when you talk about a woman from Afghanistan, the very first thing that comes into people around the world in their minds, I mean, is the victimhood, the war, the conflict. While if you see beyond that, there's so much to talk about. They are so I mean, that society is so layered. There are beauties, there are desires, there are individuals who have dreams, there are hopes, their sense of not giving up, you know? So that's why they try to write and connect to different parts of the world. For example, our writers in Untold Narratives, 38 writers that we have, they are trying to give a bright side of Afghanistan, that yes, we have war, yes, we have conflict, there are crises, we are experiencing gender apartheid, we are being erased from the society, but we have this individually. These are our desires. We are resilient. We have this resistance. This is our culture. What you're seeing as a culture that Taliban has brought to our country is not our culture. We have so much beyond that. That's exactly what I believe in. That and I resonate with it personally. I write for that because after coming to this country, I see that unfortunately the media, they have broadcasted only the dark side. In That's why I try to connect to different parts of the world, and
But
yeah.
no, Tamanna, I just want to, you know, salute you, because even in a time of just, you know, darkness, difficult
Yeah,
challenges, you are portraying this side of Afghanistan of optimism and even humor. You know, in our family, I have roots in Afghanistan, and I grew up with the stories of Mullah Nasruddin.
yeah, yeah,
And when I've been in Afghanistan, even very difficult times, um, really difficult times when we've been in dangerous situations,
mm.
people will start telling Nasruddin stories and make us
Yeah,
laugh.
yeah.
Um, Lucy, I wanted to come back to you and get a sense of, could you talk a little bit about the anthologies that you've been releasing and really and how they've been received, and if there's anything that surprised you with their reception and the work?
Well, when we started the program in 2020, the group was, we had about 21 writers in the group, and it soon became clear how it works. The model is linking Afghan women writers with international editors and translators to develop their work in the original language and in translation. Became clear that we were soon gathering a collection of pieces that would be worthy of an anthology, certainly in English translation for the English reading market. I went to talk to about 10 publishers in January 2021. One all said no, no one will be interested in the English reading world from writing by Afghan women. One, Maclehose Press, said yes, we'll commission the book, the anthology. After Kabul was retaken in August 2021, 9 of those publishers called me and said, we would like to publish the book. And luckily, I was able to say, well, you're too late, because there's one person who took it at it on face value. And this was the resulting book, which was My Pen is the Wing of a Bird, and it's a collection of fiction, new fiction by Afghan women. It's still selling well. It was shortlisted for the Jan Michalski Annual Prize for World Literature. It's now in 6 different world languages. And what surprised me, I don't think anything surprised me. I think these are writers doing what writers do. They submitted pieces to a call out, a random call out from an organization they'd never heard of in another country as a way to develop work they had no means of developing where they were in the situation that they were in. And I think in a way that would apply to any writer in their soul anywhere in the world. So in one way it is unsurprising that this is a strong, interesting collection of new work by aspiring writers at a certain stage in their career. I think what's dispiriting and surprising is people's response to it originally. And what's encouraging is that readers have defied that and continue to enjoy it and buy it.
Actually, it's just such an optimistic story because we all know what traditional publishers are like. So they need a cataclysmic event, they think, to sell work. But I think what you've proved is maybe that model existed at one time, but it doesn't anymore. And what I think people are interested in are real pieces of work by real people and real lives, and that's why I think the anthologies are so powerful. They are tremendous.
And then, yes, and then we actually followed that with, I should also say that last year we were able to bring out a collection of selected pieces from the anthologies in Farsi, which Tamanna's piece is in, and is the title "Tongueless Speaker." So, it's important that this work is not just in English and in European languages. Actually, it's in Chinese and Korean and Ukrainian. Interestingly, bought the translation rights. We then followed that with My Dear Kabul, which is a collective diary, which is, Tamanna wasn't a member of the group at that point, but that came out in 2024. That is once Kabul was retaken by the Taliban, we had to change our way of working. And we had a year where the group communicated through secure messaging apps and kept each other going, sending messages of encouragement, sharing ideas for stories, giving information about which could be helpful for people leaving. And that whole collection of messages, which amounted to about 200,000 words in Dari and Pashto, we then, with the writer's permission and collaboration, turned into a book of about 70,000 words in English called My Dear Kabul, A Year in the Life of an Afghan Women's Writing Group, which is sort of first-hand frontline reporting in a domestic sense by women writers who were charting what was happening around them via their text messages. So this isn't a work of beautiful, beautiful crafted fiction, but what it is a really unique collection of observations by writers as to what was unfolding around them during a critical period of history. And
sorry, Lucy, I just wanted to say, I'm sure in years and decades to come, it'll be perceived as a time capsule of.
Well, funnily enough, I'm going to visit the King's College we're talking about it as an archive piece for students and researchers studying this period, if to see the various drafts and the original manuscripts.
Wow.
Amazing. Tamanna, I just really want to end with you. and to ask you about your personal journey coming to Europe from Afghanistan and how you have experienced it. Has it changed the way you write and you think about Afghanistan? Because often being away from your homeland is a good way, I think, to consider the country that you're from and the culture and what's happening there. Could you, tell us your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. After I came to the UK in 2021, 1 month after Taliban did take the country, unfortunately, and that was a rupture from everything. Just and one night when you lose whatever you had, your family, your kind of the land, the motherland, the memories, kind of the identity. When you come out of your own country, in a way you kind of leave the old version of you there, and when you come to a new country, you have to, and you experience that in betweenness, and that helps you see things way different than you were seeing it, especially about your own country. Because after coming to the UK, I see like I'm above everything which is happening in my country, and I'm witnessing them now and redefining them from a very different perspective. Every incident, everything that happened throughout let's say half decade that I was there. So of course, coming to this country and then talking to people, and the opportunity of living in a country of conflict has made my writings layered. That has added a different aspect and layer to what I was writing, because originally I started writing just as a self-expression. But then after growing up more, as the situation and condition which was happening there, which was in my country, drew me to women rights and then humanity. But after coming to the UK, the displacement, that the memory and the losses that I experienced now, I try to write about them in what I hear from people who has been unheard, unseen, and for decades, almost 5 decades of war and conflict in that country is a huge thing, because it changes the way you see the world, the way you see people. But now, after coming to this country, I maybe in a way it helped me to redefine myself, my perspectives about the culture, about the globe. About now, I feel like I'm a global citizen, inherently, originally from Afghanistan, and now I'm more connected to people from different cultures because we are living in London, which is a multicultural environment. So it has helped me a lot to see things more widely, and to not just define my identity as a solid one. Now,
Tamanna, really, you are so inspiring, and I'm so proud of you as a fellow writer, that I'm proud that your voice is being heard so loudly and so eloquently, and I'm so proud of the other women as well whose work are in these anthologies, because they're not only time capsules, but they are poignant, pieces of almost like a jigsaw puzzle. That's what I see. And when they're laid down together, they form a collage that is so incredibly powerful and poignant, and are allowing people out here in the big wide world to see what's happening and what women in Afghanistan are thinking. So, Tamanna, thank you so much. And Lucy, we are indebted to you both. Thank you. Really, really thank you from us all at Sherazad Foundation.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us in your time.